age categories, be it middle-aged, old, or youth. So in these folders, the data is residing regardless, devoid of the data, devoid of the column age category. Okay, so if I go into each and every file, basically the columns that are present are only the serial number, name, age, and number of friends. Okay, the age category is in there. So that is why I don't have to include in my create table statement. Okay, only at the time of partition by, I will be putting this column over here, right? So this is the significance of the partition column. I shouldn't be putting it inside the create table statement column list, right? Third thing is stored as Parquet. In the previous one we checked it was an ORC. Now this one is plain and simple Parquet files. If I go inside there, you can see the snappy.parquet. So basically that is the reason I'm using the format as the Parquet one. And the last one is the location. So inside Hadoop, as I showed you, right, there is a folder called social circuit, and inside that social circuit folder, those partition folders are present. So I'm gonna use this one as the location. And now let me try to create the table, right? So the table has been created. Let me try to select star from the table. Now, there's a surprise. The table is created, right? It was showing okay. But if I do select star, I don't see any data. What is the reason? Is because my fold location is wrong? Is because the table hasn't been created? Something wrong? No, the table is created, but the metadata hasn't been updated. For all the partition columns, when we have this folder structure, so Hive needs to understand that there is a partition folder structure inside the Hadoop data or inside the Hadoop folder, that is the main table folder, and accordingly Hive needs to update the metastore. So Hive metastore hasn't been able to acknowledge that partition columns. Okay, whatever the partition folders are present. In case of non-partition table, it was easier for us. We didn't have to do anything. We simply just created the table and then we did a select star. In that case, we could see the data over there, right? But over here, we have to make Hive understand that there are some partition folders, there's some partition strategy for this particular table, and to update the metadata accordingly, we're gonna be using this command, msck repair table, and I'm gonna putting the table name, that is the social circle. So this command, this will add the partitions now. If you look at the result, it is saying repair added partition to metastore, old, youth, and middle-aged. Now if I try to do a show partitions command, show partitions query over here, I can see the partitions coming in, and now let me do a select star on the table, limiting it 5, and now the data is coming in. So now it's all well and good for us. We can simply use the query. You can simply just do select star and put the where clause, where age category equals to say youth. Sorry, something, okay, there was a typo in the column. No, still. Age category. And put it as in string. Okay, now I can see it. Now let me do a count based on the partition columns. Okay. Let me do select. Count 1. Right, I could easily see 99. Right, so it's much faster this way whenever we are trying to get anything out of the partition column. Okay, so this is the partition in Hive, and so the thing is, one thing to notice is that whenever we are trying to create a partition strategy in Hive table. In that case, we have to repair the metadata, and to do that, we have to run the EMSC repair table. Okay. Now coming into the bucketed table and how this looks like. So there is one table that is, let me go over here, do a show tables. Okay. So I have this table EV population data ORC, which I created earlier. Okay. So I'm going to be creating a bucketed table from that, and I'm going to be putting into that ORC EV population ORC bucketed. So first of all, let me drop this table because it is already created. Now let me get into the bucket table command. Now enabling the bucket, before enabling the bucket, let me set this one true, the property, right? So it is true. Now I'm going to be creating the bucket table. So for the bucket table, it's the same command that I'm using. Create external table, if not exit, ORC bucketed. These are the fields that I'm using, and it will be stored as ORC only. Okay, and there is the bucketing significance. There is the basically command, or this is the this line basically highlighting that the table will be bucketed. So to do that, I'm going to be using the clustered by keyword, and this is going to be the model year that I'm going to be bucket upon. So for each and every model year, there will be single bucket. Each and every model year, those will be put into one definite bucket, and I'm going to be specifying this. There will be three buckets, so there will be only three files inside the table folder in Hadoop or S3. Okay, and inside each and every file, the based on the model year value, there was this hash formula, right? Column value divided by the number of buckets. So based on that, each and every model year or each and every row for that model year will go into that bucket. Okay, let me first create this table. So the bucket table is created now, and I'm going to be importing the data from the EV population ORC into it. So for to do that, I'm going to be using this command: insert override table EV population bucket ORC bucketed, and I'm selecting everything from the EV population ORC. So whatever it is inside the EV population ORC, I'm simply importing the data into my new bucketed table. All right, let me run this command. So for each and every hive, there's going to be a MapReduce job that will be running, and that's how you will see it. Okay, so the bucketed table is now created and it is imported from the EV population ORC. Let me check the data has been imported or not. Select star from. Let me limit it to 5 only. Okay, so this is the bucketed table. So now how do you understand this is a bucketed table? Now let me go to the file storage. Okay, first let me describe this one where the actual data is located. So this is the path where the actual data is located, S3 URI. Let me go to the S3 bucket and check. So this is my bucket, S3 bucket, and inside that the bucketed table is presented at inside the data hub. Okay, so this is the data hub database folder. Since this is owned by the Hive metastore only, so everything will be only the data hub, that is the database folder. So inside the database folder, this is the folder created for this table, and now you can see there are only three files. This is just a staging for logging and dummy folder. This is not considered as the main data. So these are the files. These are the actual files which are being bucketed. So this is the bucket 1, this is the bucket 2, bucket 3. It is indexed as 0, 1, 2, and each and every bucket, using that formula by the model year, the data has been resided or distributed across all the files. So this is the example of Hive tables and bucketing. So now you understand that how do we create the table, impart the schema that is actually residing on either S3 or Hadoop. Okay, this is not some table that is being owned by Hive only. For example, let me check on this table. So this table that I created on top of the so this one I created the external table on top of the data that is residing. So with the thing is, with the external table or the uh, special feature of the external table is, even if I drop the table, the data will still be intact into my file storage. Let me try using that. Let's drop this table, EV population ORC. Okay, so let me do a select star from it. Okay, it is showing table not found. So is it the data lost? No. If I go into my S3 bucket, if I go into my dummy data bucket, and if I, so this is the folder that I used for creating the table, and the data is still intact. So next time when I just create the table again, I don't have to do any kind of insert query. I don't have to put any kind of like insert value or something like that. So easily just create the table on top of the data that is residing, and the schema is imparted, and that's how my table is visible in Hive. Okay.